riding with him?
Well, I haven't been to Indianapolis or that way in forever,
Okay.
but I wanted to go with him, support him, and my classes that I'm going to be taking in November are in Indianapolis.
Okay. They're not in Fort Wayne.
No, they gave me the
Okay.
option of Indy, so I chose Indianapolis.
Okay. Awesome.
But I think I can do it. Well, I know I can do it.
Yes. Yes, you can do it. So we're going to talk about action tonight, all about action and identity. Well, a little bit of identity. I kind of changed it up a little bit, but so I'm going to kind of go over the last or go do a recap of the last week and just like of the process of what we did this week. And then I'm going to just acknowledge everybody who has been here every night and who's watched the replays and know that you have another week. You have till next Sunday, and I have a replay page that after tonight, I'm going to have that. I'll send that replay page out to everybody. And then if you're in Relaunch Your Soul Academy already, you'll have access to all of these inside of the portal. And I redid Wednesday night. It's just a training since all of the chaos happened. So just know that. So I know Kristen, you said, because she was asking me about the replay so she could watch them. So Kristen,
Yeah, I
don't
just
worry.
need last night's. That's the only one I missed.
Yes. Yep. I know you're in the running as well already. So all of you guys are going to be in the drawing. And if you are like current client of mine, then you will just get like an extra um 3 sessions that will be like added on to your stuff. And I am doing a hypnosis. So I've been doing more hypnosis with a couple of my clients, and I really want to start doing that more like in the challenges as well. So so yeah, I'll throw one of those in there too. So okay.
Well, I don't put my lemons in the fridge, but I'd be willing to
Oh,
I'd be willing to let me try again.
you remember that? Isn't that funny?
Yes, it was
Your
hilarious.
subconscious mind was programmed to those lemons.
You're like, okay, you open up your fridge and there's the freshest bright. I'm gonna put my lemons in the fridge. Anyway,
No, it just shows your susceptibility to be
I
hypnotized.
know. That's why I said
That
I'd
is
be willing to let
crazy.
me try
That was like 3 years ago. That's how powerful hypnosis is.
again.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love
Sorry.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody wants to like research hypnosis, I've had a couple clients lately that are like, I don't know, let me research it first. And so I just say, yeah, do it. Don't take my word for it, but you're in total control the whole time. You're not gonna like, um, you know, quack like a duck or whatever, a chick. I don't know what they used to say of like the entertainment hypnosis. That's not what it is at all. And actually, when you do a guided meditation, you're doing a hypnosis. Like you're just calming your brain and your body and yeah, so and then clearing out stuff like that. So whatever in the forefront will come to the or what's in the background that we don't remember, then it'll go to the forefront. So anyway, okay. So let's get on with this. You guys can get on with your Friday. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me see. Okay, yeah. And then I do have 3 of you. I have 3 people, Erica, and Stacy, who aren't able to be, they scheduled calls, so I'm going to meet with them. And then Kristen, did you get my message a minute ago about scheduling ours? Oh, she's muted.
Yeah, you said we needed to, but
Okay.
yeah, I just don't think that was the only thing in the message.
Okay. So, yeah, I'll just talk to you after that. We'll make sure that
Okay.
it's scheduled before we get off of here. Okay.
Okay.
So, okay, let me go ahead and do this. And then if you guys all just want to I want to do like a little, just a relaxation. And before we get started, with this, just because what I was just talking about with hypnosis, when we do relax and when we do start something off with being in just that space of presence and yeah, presence and relaxation, and we can obtain, or we can take in the information a little bit better. Where, oh, it's happening again. Okay, and I'm not gonna go through like all of this. Hold on, my cat needs out. I knew she was gonna do this. She always does this. Okay, here you go. I'm sorry. Here you go. All right, if you guys want to just go ahead and close your eyes for a couple, like for a minute here, and just take a deep breath in through your nose, have your belly go out. And then when you exhale, just all the stale stuck energy, and you can even just kind of like shake out your body if you have any anxiety, or stretch if you feel like you need to stretch, if you've had a busy day. And we're just gonna, so just take a deep breath in again. Connect with the sounds around you, with my voice, with whatever is in the room that you're in. Feel the support underneath you. Feel your feet on the ground if you're outside. And you can even, when you breathe in again, just making some sort of like humming noise or a noise when you exhale, just to kind of open up the throat chakra. And just go, ah. And then you can, feel the clothes on your skin. And we just want our awareness to come from that's outside of us. We want to bring it inside and know that we are here we're open to receive healing for the highest good of all. And we're here together, connecting and in a place of acceptance and safety and vulnerability. And just knowing that you are safe here in this space. And then just take another deep breath in. And then exhale. And then open your eyes whenever you're ready. I'm actually going to light some incense here. I didn't light any. All right, so this week we started with setting goals, which I had Jess, I had Abby and Kristen, I had Janelle, and then Darla. I don't think we set a goal initially, did we, on Monday? I think I passed you up on accident, but it's okay. So, and then Ashley, she's not here, but it's okay. I'm going to check in with her. So tonight, I know that with Jess, yours was to reconnect and to get back into alignment, or at least feel more connected, to feel a little bit more aligned. How do you think, Jess, this week went? Like, how are you feeling with that compared to how you felt on Monday?
I feel pretty good. I mean, I don't feel like anything's like overly, gone wrong. Everything's just been pretty just smooth. It's just been an easier week than I've had for a minute. So that's just been nice. Nothing like I didn't need anything like extravagant to happen
Yeah,
either. It's
right.
just needed just a easy week, and it's just been nice. Yeah, I've just been doing some stuff I wanted to do too.
Yeah.
Get done. So yeah, it's been good. Just kind of
Yeah.
go slow.
I found this, by the way. I was gonna message you earlier, but it's honoring endings ritual. I was thinking about doing it tonight, but then some of the questions on there, because there's like soul inquiry questions, and
Okay.
it reminded me of your, like, what you shared the other night when Chris came to get his stuff, and just like how you were feeling around that. And it's all about, it's from Rebecca Campbell. And actually, we do it outside. I did it last year at the end of the year. And we do like the water, the air, the water, fire. We bring in all the 4 elements. And in any way, I'm going to send it to you. I'd really like to do it. We won't have time, I don't think, to do it tonight. But you with nature, it made me think of you, because just like of nature and just how you are, because you might not think that you're like soft. You are soft. Like your energy is like soft, just to let you know that. It's nice.
you.
Good energy. So, so I just found it today, and it was like a year ago. So anyway, I was like, I
Okay.
need to send that to Jess and everybody, because this is what this week's about, right? Is honoring an ending of a pattern, right? Or of a habit, or of a chapter, or it doesn't even have to be a pattern. It could just be an ego death of some sort, of like, I'm just evolving into this new person, or this different person than I've ever been. Not so much like new all the way, but like just allowing healing and new things to come in. And it's through the micro shifts. It's not through the big things, like Jess just said, of like big like booms and epiphanies and breakthroughs. Like those are great to have, but like that's not how long-lasting transformation, like how it sticks, right? It's the daily habit, it's the daily things that we do, the small little things. And that's what the mindful mornings have been. Like that's literally the purpose of the mindful mornings. There's small, tiny little things to do every day, ends up like adding up. It's just transformational at the end. So that's what I did the first day. And then I asked you guys to make this one choice, to kind of have this in your mind of letting go of your problems and excuses to feel better. So we're either more attached and more committed to our problems and excuses and complaining, or we're committed to just feeling better. Not even feeling good all the way sometimes, just feeling better than what we did the day before. And like Kristen, when you told me how you felt tonight, like I used to feel like that all the time. Like I felt depressed constantly, like all day. I wouldn't even get out of bed. Like it's just, and I know everybody here has heard that story many times, so I won't go deep into it, but that was my reality. And I was on Zoloft, I was on all these things. But anyway, the moment that I decided to feel that I was gonna take my power back, I want to feel better, I want to figure this out, like that's when things started to really go. So it is a decision. That's what I created this slide for, is like, it is a decision we have to make. Like it's not something that just happens, right? It's not, and if nobody else around us is doing this work, which that's why you're here, right, Kristen and everybody, we have to like, we flock and resonate with other people who are on similar frequencies, right? And similar ways of doing things. And just the first time I met you, Kristen, in my office, and the moment you saw that shadow book and you're like, oh my gosh, I want that. And then my meditation, and it was like, you want this, like you want to feel better. You don't want to continue feeling the way that you're feeling. And so that's just very powerful. And then asking ourselves, like, who am I going to be without my without my problems, and who am I going to be without all of those things? It's really, I don't know, it's kind of crazy to think about it. And we're human. That's why we complain of excuses and problems, by the way. We have an ego, but it's knowing that they're not there. Like we don't have to let them stand in our way, right? They're not in stone or whatever. So and then it's about owning your commitment this week of just showing up, and you guys have all done that. And then the dumb ways to feel better, right? Trying to be positive all the time, cutting cords only, focusing on the coping mechanism instead of the actual problem, taking prescription medication or doing drugs only, or trying to change your circumstances without doing the mindset work and the healing work, right? None of those are long-lasting ways to evolve. And then we'll go over that at the end of this presentation. Okay, and then we talked about self-sabotage, you guys, all of this stuff about how you know you're in it. And then the 3 important skills, right? Identifying your core commitment and need. And this is like an ongoing process of like, and I suggest like in your journal, or, I hope you guys all have a journal. I know Jess, I know Janelle does. Darla, I'm pretty sure you have a journal too. Kristen, do you have a journal that you write in?
Yes, I just don't have it with me right now.
Okay, so just keeping track of when it comes up of like, oh, that's a need that I have that I haven't been expressing. So I want to write that down. Like I want to write down what all of my needs are as they come to me. And then, yeah, confront the repressed emotions and how to process them. We talked about that. And then disconnecting action from the feeling, right? Taking action anyway, regardless if we're not feeling motivated. And how we learned how to do that is how to take our power back over our thoughts, right? With the CBT, with the model. Yeah, I won't go through all this because I don't want you guys to, let's see. Okay. And then to respond differently, same thing. So, okay. So we're going to go to 5. Here's how you process emotions, by the way. Here we'll go over this one really quickly. Identify the emotion, accept it as what it is, get curious about it, ask questions, and then just allow it to move through, whether that is taking a walk, screaming, talking to a friend, doing something, and just allowing it to be and doing whatever it is you need to do, and then let it go with forgiveness and compassion, right? So there's 5 steps. So so if you're feeling depressed, Kristen, you identified that. Like that's an emotion or a state of, like with depression, it's more of like a state of being more, at least that's how I see it, but it's still an emotion. So you realize that, you're accepting.
Yeah, I feel
you're
I
here.
should have used sad more than
Okay.
depressed.
Sadness.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so that's where you're at right now. So then we would just be like, okay, what's this telling me? Right? What's this telling me? So going back to the, list of emotions, so sadness, it comes up after disappointment, right? Which is it okay if I or do you want to I don't want to tell your business. So we don't have to
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
okay. So you're disappointed your boyfriend went to jail for child support, and that is a really petty reason for someone to go to jail. Trust me, I've had to deal with it many times. And it sucks, right? And so I totally understand why you would feel that way. And you're not wrong for feeling that way. You just are disappointed because it's about to be your birthday, right? Or when is your birthday?
Sunday.
Okay. And this is the second time that he's not around for your birthday. So you have all this disappointment. So it shows you like what you love, right? And what it is. However, since it's another person that's not going to be there, you could also reframe this to be, okay, I have this time to focus on myself right now. Like you have more time to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always thought of. And to be honest with you, when he would get out, I would be not happy. That's how I knew. I'm like, okay, this just needs to be done because his absence was more, I don't know, more, I liked it better when he wasn't around. And so that's so this just gives you a chance to look at that because as codependents, we just latch on to something, right? It's like we do. I mean, it's because our conditioning, we latch on to who understands us and makes us feel safe. And so I think that just might be your soul's way of being like, okay, you're going to do this by yourself. Let's do this. So that is how right there, you just reframe it and you get curious of what is this calling doing. So, and then you just get curious, allow it, and then release it, right? Not to say you won't feel sadness again, but it's just kind of like a cycle to know that you don't have to stay there because it's not you, right? Sadness is just an entity. It's an emotion in your body that's making its way through your body. It's not your identity. So then we talked about the model, right, of how to create distance. So again, we just created distance with an emotion or emotion from action by looking at this because it makes it very tangible. Like, oh, something happened. Oh, I had a thought about it. Oh, the emotion, how it made me feel. Just putting it down on paper or seeing it through like a process allows us to disconnect from it. But then saying, okay, what are the thoughts I need to think in order to drive action? So for example, if we're thinking, perfect example. So a little bit ago, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to get this training over because I'm tired. That's a thought I had. And I'm just like, wait a minute, no, but I'm excited for this training because I really was excited, but I was just tired. But if I had continued to think that thought of I'm tired, I've been up since 4, blah, 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 all these things, I wouldn't have I don't know, I still would have showed up, but I'm just like, wouldn't be excited about it. So I changed the way I was thinking, and I got excited about getting on here with you guys. Like, and that, because I had, yeah. So it's just crazy when you can start to construct the way you're taking something in. Okay. And then, of course, our coping mechanisms. So whatever our unhealthy coping mechanisms were before, if that's part of the pattern or the habit, we just start to replace that unhealthy thing that we did, that unhealthy pattern, with something else that's going to give us the same feeling or similar. So like example for me, like drugs or meth, right, made me want to speed up, and it helped me with my energy. And I figured out the chakras. I replaced it with chakra work and energy work and meditation. That was, and my core need was I wanted to feel motivated and energized, or, you know, I wanted to be able to show up in my life. That was the need of being able to show up. And so I changed it to something healthy. And so there's so many different coping mechanisms that I know you guys are already like taking walks. Jess, I know that you like paddle, you go to the lake a lot. Is it a lake right by you, or is it a river?
Forgot I was on mute.
It's okay.
There's both. So
Okay.
yeah, if I'm just going out by myself, I'll head to the lake, and then if I can do it with other people, there's the river we can float.
What's the lake?
Lake Manitou.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's awesome.
Yes, I used to go to North Webster Lake. We had a cottage up there, and
Oh,
I
nice.
miss it so much. But anyway, that would totally be what I'd be doing as well. Like, I'd so want to be up by the lake somewhere. So that is just, so any of these right here would, you know, to replace them with that. And then yesterday we talked about adopting a growth mindset, right? Of in order to, we're starting to break this habit, or we're starting to unravel it. We want to continue to take action in the right direction. So we have to adopt a growth mindset, right? And so there's 3 steps to it. We become aware that we have a fixed mindset, right? Through our self-talk that we looked at on Wednesday. You guys were mindful of the self-talk. If we are having a lack mindset, or we're fixed in the ways that we are thinking, then we're not going to move anywhere. So number 2 is we reframe it. So just like we did, Kristen, with yours, with the of like, oh, now I get to have some time to myself. So that felt a little better. That raised your vibration just a little bit to think like that. And then step 3, take action. Then that makes us want to do something. Okay. Now, for today, it's really making it all stick, right? So you don't go back and fall back into old ways. And honestly, from this point forward, there's no way, like, you might fall back a little bit, but you're going to be mindful of it, right? You're going to be aware of it. It's like, oh, I'm starting to feel like I have in the past. What is a coping mechanism or a thing that I can reach out to, or something that I can do right now to get me back into that frame of mind? But there's 2 very important things that are going to make this stick no matter what. But first, so we don't change in breakthroughs, we change in micro shifts. It's not moments of action that give us long-lasting change. It's restructuring our habits. It's changing small things every day. It requires a paradigm shift. So a paradigm shift is just a shift in the way that we see our reality, basically. And that it's just having a shift in the way, of our reality. So this was the purpose behind our mindful mornings. That's literally the number 1 purpose of doing those, is to instill that habit of a morning, some sort of morning routine. Doesn't have to be huge, but just getting present and saying, you know, I intend to be mindful today of my triggers, of my responses, of my self-talk, my feelings, and the way that I make decisions. Because the way that we make decisions is also, which, does anybody have a difficult time making decisions? Kristen, you do? Okay. All right. So, so in our call, we'll talk more about that, because that's going to be a key part, right? Of really once you can connect to your intuition, which we'll get to there here in a second, of like kind of getting there, but being able to make a decision, because if you feel stuck right now, it's because there's unmade decisions somewhere. There's decisions you're not wanting to make, or we're just not making decisions. Not making a decision is making a decision, right? It's a
Like-
decision not to move.
Like if it's two decisions, like right versus wrong,
Yeah,
I'm okay with something like that. But it's like when there are multiple and, you know, it's not just like a right versus wrong thing. That's
right.
when I'm overwhelmed and just, I don't know.
Right. Or if it's like it requires your for you to, if it's about you, like, hey, where do you want to eat? And I know you were like, you can't even tell them, right? Of like, I don't know what I want to eat. Like, I don't know. So if you're
Yeah.
not sure of who you are, right? Which here we go. There are, well, first the micro shifts I was talking about, which these slides and everything will be in the portal as well. But like the daily micro shifts, getting present in the morning, practicing being mindful, meditating and doing energy work, journaling daily, learning how to process your, paying attention to your emotions, cleaning up your entanglements with boundaries, right? I should have put with energy work and setting boundaries. And then building a healthy relationship with yourself and discovering purpose, like just little things that are going to start to move you over there. I mean, discovering purpose isn't a micro shift, but there's things you can do to discover your purpose. That's what I meant. So the two requirements, though, to completely restructure our habits is one, a clear self-concept, and two, having a desired experience, like knowing what we want to experience in our life. So like Darla, since the day I met you and started being like close with you and hanging out with you, you have had a desire to live in a community that is like indigenous in a way, right? Like
Even any kind of intentional community, yes, an intentional working together of people for living. Yes.
yeah. And you've had that desire. I mean, that's such a deep desire for you that is what guides you making your decisions, right? I mean, that is how you, right? Or what?
I mean, it's always a factor in how I think. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have that desire, if you didn't know that, or to go back to the island, right? Or like that's another desire you have. If you didn't have those, though, that is what you would probably feel lost, right? Or like,
Yeah.
really, yeah.
Hopefully I'd find something else, but
Well, you always do, but I mean,
it's
yeah.
a good thing, but yes. But
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that
It's a big
desire
part of me.
also, yeah, showed her what her values are and her needs. So she wants community. She wants that connection with a community and helping each other out, and her being, like that. Our desires really point out what we do value and what we do really want. So our self-concept. So we've had a self-concept in this pattern and these habits that we've had for years, and we've had a conditioned self-concept, really. Our self-concept has been created by mainly our parents and like our friends and growing up and what other people have told us who we are. So unless you have a strong sense of this self-concept, then that's another reason why you're going to go back into old because you're like, that's who I am, right? So it requires a shift in who we are. So just like in addiction, or just like with depression or people pleasing, I said it yesterday, like people saying I'm a recovering addict, right? That's their identity. And some people get a little feisty with me sometimes when I say, no, you're a person in recovery for an addictive behavior, right? That addiction is an experience. It's not who the person is. It doesn't mean that we're shitty people because we did this behavior. It's just our life experience. And I believe that anyone who has experienced that before has a very strong purpose in this world of like just so much, and also with people pleasing, right? So So that is what, if we think we're a recovering addict, then it's going to be easy, or recovering people pleaser will continue doing the behavior because we identify with it. So our self-concept is the way we see ourselves. It determines how we show up or not show up in our life, in our relationships, family, all the things. And if we see ourselves as limited, we will take action from a place of being not enough, right? And this influences the choices we make and the actions we take. So if we want to take different action, we have to feel more, or to feel more confident, we must see ourselves as a confident woman, a confident person. If we want to start a business, we have to see ourselves as a business owner. If we want to, if we are, we want to work at a certain place, like a teacher or something, we have to see ourselves as a teacher. So if we don't, then we're going to feel like an imposter. We'll have that imposter syndrome, which is another where that self-sabotage can come in. And so everything comes down to our self-concept. And this is something that we are always improving. So like right now, my self-concept is in a big shift because of the spaces that I'm in right now. I have a lot of imposter syndrome of like, what am I doing here? I am not this person yet. But I have to work on that. That's what I work on with my coach, because if I don't, then I'm not going to get very far. So it's always how we see ourselves. And so what makes up our self-concept is our beliefs, our values, our needs, our interests, our passions and hobbies, goals, intentions, childhood experiences, what other people, because we do want to take their, we do want to listen to the people we love and what they think of us. We do want to know that. That isn't something that we're just like, nope, I don't care what anyone thinks. I can, whatever. No, we want the input of the people we love, but we also want to have the confidence of knowing. So this is work that we do in Relaunch Your Soul Academy. This is work we're going to do a lot more of in From Wounded to Wild. This second round is really getting clear on what that self-concept is, because that will just set the tone or the foundation for everything else. And then also your deeper soul desire of, if you could do anything or be anything in the world, regardless of money or support, what would you want, right? What experiences do you want to have? I do want at least one person to answer that. Or what would you want to do? If you what's one thing you're like, if I had more money or support, I would do that thing.
Travel.
Yes. I feel you there. That's one of mine too. Abby, are you there?
Oh, not really.
That's why I called on you.
No, actually, I just kind of missed the last 10
Okay.
minutes dealing with behaviors, but
Okay.
with this new, I can't think of what you call it, profound aha, that
Yes.
connection.
Yep.
We're handling things different, and so far it's successful.
Oh my
But it did keep me away for about 10 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to hear about it. I'll hear about it tomorrow. I know I will. So we're good. Okay. Janelle, did you have something?
Yeah, I think mine, if regardless of money, I would want to have a facility for women in recovery.
Awesome. I
Love it.
Jess, what about you? Are you pretty much good with what you're doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably travel more if I could. I'm probably not going to get to for a little bit, so kind of got it out of my system. That's not out of my system, but got to do some stuff this summer and spring, so gotta settle down now. But yeah, I would always be traveling more for sure.
Yeah. So Kristen, like, think about like the places you'd want to go travel, or, even Jess with of like getting so specific of like, where do I want to go? Okay, what does that look like? So like getting into the manifestation part of it, which we're not going to go deep into manifestation right here, but inside of the my program, we do manifest. We're all manifesting right now. We're always manifesting, negative or the positive, but intentionally co-creating our life experiences is something that we do inside of the portal. So there are 5. I wanted to add this in here. I just added it in here because I was like, oh my gosh, I created like a process for staying in alignment or living life in alignment. And I can't believe I didn't add this on here. But this, like, following these 5 things all the time, like all the time, will help you stay in alignment with your higher self. It'll help you connect with your soul. It'll help you maintain a life, in connection with that more sacred part of ourselves. So number 1 is intention, right? By always having intention, our intention is what directs our energy. With intention with that energy alchemy that I talked about this morning, intention is the first step. When we set an intention, so when you guys set that intention of commitment on day 1, you guys were co-creating an experience this week, like the energy, put it out there with your thoughts and just, I am setting this intention. And so if we always stay mindful of what our intention is or why we're showing up at all in our life, it's going to keep us in this place of presence, like being connected with the present moment. And so then number 2, relaxation, right? We can't heal. We can't access our soul. We can't access our higher mind if we don't relax. So if you ever find yourself very stressed or in anxiety or just in a place where, you don't feel safe ever, so you can't relax, that's definitely not a place to be in. But relaxation, so mindfulness, meditation, whatever, but even just being relaxed in your relationships and relaxed in your, interactions of like going with just allowing things to go, but having boundaries, of course. Don't be like, hey, walk all over me. That's what I'm trying to get away of. But just not taking stuff so seriously sometimes just allows us to do that. And then fascination. So like being fascinated, genuinely fascinated in other people, pretty much serving is another way you could say it, but really being curious. Like I remember, when you meet somebody that's so fascinating, Jess, I guarantee, I know you, because you've met so many fascinating people, and with your enlightenment part, like there's just fascinating people. Every time I go to your enlightenment thing, like this last one, everybody's just amazing. Like I love, I love being in that space because everybody is just doing their thing, right? And they're showing up in their authenticity. And I always go to like the tables and like, so I'm like fascinated by this. Or like the first time I met Shelby, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this Shelby Lopez, not Shelby from Turning Point. She's a tarot reader that Jess and I work with, and that is up in Rochester. But she fascinated me. And so when you just stop thinking about how someone's seeing us or how we're showing up and just having genuine curiosity for outside of ourselves, it brings us in alignment with our higher self, right? It just does. And then for us to be fascinating is to be different, right? And to not be in the conformity of in this box, right? Stepping out of this and saying, this is me. And in our authenticity, that is from being fascinating. So also practicing that. And then number 4, using your imagination. And I mean that by expanding your brain and your mindset, but your capacity for possibility, not just imagining things, right? But when we have a strong imagination and we work on that third eye, because that in all the chakras, but when we work on that, we see more possibility and solutions. More stuff comes to us when we're open to that stuff. Does that make sense? Of like opening up to whatever it is. So, and then number 5 is documentation. And that is what journaling or doing Facebook Lives, that's how I've done it. Doing video, or I talk in my phone, where I just document whenever I have an aha moment or what my plans are. Like, it's just, you want to have it somewhere tangible, get it out of your brain, put it on paper, and you might write a book one day. This is what I always say. You might write a book, or you might use that to teach people your ways of healing and all the things, because you guys can take all of this and make it your own. Please, like I that's what I want everybody to do. I want to know how you guys do all this. So those are the core 5 that I talk about a whole lot inside of the academy. So, okay. Do you guys have any questions as far as like when it comes to these skills or oh, and taking action from, well, there was one thing I did not, I don't know if I put it on here. I thought I did, but it's okay. I don't want to throw any more at you guys. So really it's just about adopting one of these habits or the daily micro shifts. So the homework, and we're going to do it right now, is basically like what's one daily micro shift or one daily non-negotiable that you're going to do from here on out, which I know like Jess, this is maintenance for you. I know you already have a strong, like you feel, I mean, right, you feel pretty good in what your practices are, or is there anything that you're wanting to adopt or like add on to any of this? If anybody wants to share.
Oh, I mean, I guess just being more consistent with it. I mean, I have routines and different things I like to do. So sometimes
Okay.
I wake up and do different stuff or I get out of the routine. So it's just being more consistent with it. Just kind
Okay.
of getting up at the same time. Like I've allowed myself to sleep in a lot lately, which I don't mind it. My body probably needs it, but I'm not as productive if I don't get up earlier.
Right.
I like the
Okay.
downtime in the morning. So that gives me enough time to kind of just wake up and then I can get started.
Right. Okay. So then what time are you gonna like, what's the ideal time to wake up for you?
I really like waking up at like 6, but I've been getting up at like 8 lately.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna shoot for like 6:30. I do set my alarm and but I'll just go back to sleep. So I'm like, well, I'm just not there yet. So
Yep.
but
Yeah. And is there any other, I just want to, just because I'm going to just coach right here. So is there any other reason besides that you want to get up at 6, besides just, you know, that helps you feel more productive? Is that the main reason? Or because 8 o'clock is early too. I mean, you know?
yeah, I I don't know. I guess I like being up earlier because I
Okay.
when I had my last job, like that's how early I got up and I liked that consistency. But once I started like having this like things I just need to relax from, I just started sleeping in and I'm like, and it might be the winter too, because a lot of the times
Right.
my body does shift with the season.
Yeah.
So it might just be like I'm just not wanting to get up because the sun's not up yet.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
but
But so when you sleep in, do you find yourself like, oh my gosh, I slept in, or like, do you beat yourself up at all? Or are there
no.
any like, okay.
No, because I know I still have time to do everything.
Mm.
It's just
Okay.
I know I like being up earlier,
Yeah.
but it's nothing that it's like hurting my day or anything like that. Like I make sure,
Okay.
I have alarms set for stuff, but I would
Right.
be up earlier because it just gives me more time just to maybe work out a little bit more. Like I feel like that's what I'm cutting that out a little bit. Like I'm just cutting like my exercises just shorter. And
Okay.
that was something that I was really enjoying that made me feel really good if I, even because they're not really extreme workouts. It's just I'm watching
Right.
something for like 45 minutes and then I'm just like moving around, just waking up my body up basically.
Yeah.
So it's not like I have to go to the gym or anything like that. It's just moving and just waking
Right.
up. I like having more time to do that. Just kind of walk around and drink tea or coffee or something, and then just
Yeah.
get rolling in something.
Yeah. I understand that totally. It does feel like the early bird gets the worm always comes in my brain of like,
Yeah.
it just is. So the only reason I asked is if like you do have those thoughts afterwards of like, I should be doing that, or I should have got up and then now it's just ruined. But if you're not having those thoughts, then it's totally good. So, okay. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Janelle, what about you?
You know, I have my schedule.
Yes, you do. You feel
I
good
get
with
up at
it?
6:50. Yes,
Okay.
6:15 is my get up time because that's my mindful morning. I send out my morning messages. I do my meditation. Then I can everybody chaos.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
have that time to get my mindset ready for the day.
Right. To create the environment, kind of like, and
Yeah.
Jess, it's kind of with you saying like, I just like this, but it's creating the inner environment to take on like the day. That's how I always think about it. So,
Yeah.
Kristen, what about you?
I could probably work on a few of these actually.
Mhm.
I was
What's
looking
one
through.
though? Yeah. What's like one thing? So we don't, like, I don't wanna
Well, the
overwhelm you.
first one that popped out to me was the process emotions.
Mhm.
And I really liked that little wheel that you had up. I
Okay.
managed to actually get a screenshot of that
Okay.
while it was up.
Yeah,
So
I'll give you the slide of it too if you want. I'll put them in the chat. So, okay, so to process emotions, and I guess, so a micro shift with that, so because that's not really the micro shift, I need to delete that off of there. But so the
Yeah.
micro shift to process, so what it would be is waking up in the morning and just asking yourself, okay, how do I feel right now? Or,
right.
and then, or you could say, what are the emotions that I've been feeling? But I don't, but because to start our day off, kind of processing emotions, it depends on where you're at, right? If we're together, if you're with me, if we have like a coaching call or something, or if you're in meditation or whatever, you know, in ours, or by yourself at night or something, this could be a good nighttime like ritual
Okay.
too, of like, what are the what's the default, like, what was my mood today, you know? And then in the morning, just doing that mindful practice of what do I need today? That's a great question. I've been asking that like every morning. Okay, what do I need right now? Well, I need
Okay.
a drink of water.
Well, in
I
that
need,
sense, I
yeah,
guess I'd go with the practice being mindful to strengthen focus.
yeah, yeah. But I wrote down, I'm writing down the, like with the process emotions, that's the one that you were drawn to. So, okay. Darla.
I was agreeing with Jess is using the clock for the schedule.
Mhm.
You
Okay.
know, instead of it, well, it's when I'm doing this, but it's whenever
Mhm.
is, because I think that's important for the kids also to have
Oh, yeah.
a more precise routine.
Right.
I mean, yes, one thing follows the other, but not in a uh, like hourly consistent kind of way.
Yeah. Okay. So is that something that you do now or you're going to do?
Well, that's one of the micro shifts. That's what you
Okay.
were asking, right?
Yes,
Is
right. I just want
trying
to make sure. Okay.
to is
Okay.
referencing the clock a little more often.
Okay. All right. And then Abby, what about you? Oh, wait. You know what, Abby? For you, what's one less thing you're gonna do in the morning? I'm just
No,
kidding. I'm not picking on you.
No, she says.
I am going to commit to this and also answer another question, which is it's not my sole desire, but it's my sole desire right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I want to do a morning call about documentation because that really led to my aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
I have a color coordination and I'm
Mhm.
very simple. I had a keep it simple mantra
Yeah.
in January and I've been working up through the chakras and right now we're in throat chakra, and as we've been spilling my drama, I have been yelling and screaming and asking for help everywhere I can. That is the chakra I am in currently as well. So it's weird that that was like coming up.
Mm-hmm.
But I have where I mark out the day I mark out the day with a color based on the day I had.
Mm-hmm.
And I had gotten to where on red days, I'd forget why they were red. So I'd write like a quick jolt argument on the way to Michigan or argument about whatever, fight with kid about this. And I have the shortest journal prompts. Every morning has a color, every day has a color, and I do it rainbow. So just like the first day I started was red, and then I've just continued that pattern, and it's really doesn't set on a day of the week. And then seeing where I've fallen off and
Mhm.
just seeing those patterns there all
Right.
spread out is the
Mhm.
importance of documentation.
Yes.
And all the like, if I had a bad day, I did never really go into detail, but there'd be something like you could just tell, but I'd put a little red triangle in the corner. Nobody else who read my journal would read through like 300 pages of positive weird things, me writing the alphabet with my left hand, working on cognitive stuff, or really depressing, like everything, the animals peed the carpet, everything's going wrong, I'm just done, I'm done. So I could count those up. And I started going through the model of,
Okay.
okay, what was the issue? How could I handle it? Like working through it, how could I handle it
Oh
differently?
my gosh. I love
So, sweetheart, could you turn on the light for me real quick? Could you turn on the light for me real quick? We have, it was not that me and my husband have any drama, but again, I have been disputing the drama. He's been flipping when I've been flopping, and we just not been lining up. Nothing's been in alignment. So today with our schedule, we were able to line it up, and I color coordinate everything. So we've sort of had a basic, but I've gotten my whole family on the same page, and we've worked towards, we have our consequences and how we handle things and what we're all working towards as a family unit. And that's been my aha moment. So I would like to work towards, commit to working on an agenda about the importance of the documentation and then building those habits, because I am a person. I was always a morning person, but I would sleep in because why not? And I could sleep 24 hours if I needed to. But if I'm up at 5 a.m., I'm a perky person.
Yeah.
And then kind of just sharing things about the 20-20-20 method and really the importance of
What's the 20-20-20 method?
20 minutes on physical, mental,
Okay.
and reflection.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, and okay. Yeah. You told me that.
It's like the 5 a.m. club. And I just like, I have my habits and my habit tracker based on that. And then I have habits that change each month based on my chakras. And one, like I just wear that color for, if that's all I do for that chakra, that's all I do. I wore blue today and boop, done. And so then sometimes it's like, we finally had a good conversation and I felt like I shared, so I get to color it in.
Yeah. I love it.
And
So
that's the importance of documentation, no matter how little, and it's always check marks. Like I make it super easy for myself. It's check marks and bubbles and slashing
yes.
things out.
I told you need to teach a class. You need
That's
to
what I'm
teach a workshop
thinking.
on your process because
But I don't like a lot of that other stuff. I just want to show up and do it. I don't want to get people and find a place.
okay, well, we'll we'll talk about that in your coaching calls. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. All right. So, and the reason why I stopped and we all did that is so in your brain, you can start, your brain's starting to go of like, okay, I'm going to be the person who wakes up and gets present in the morning. Who am I as the person who wakes up and gets present? Who am I as the person who wakes up at 6 versus 8 o'clock? Like, who is it who's the woman that sets an alarm clock for, to set off certain times of the day? So you just want to start to think like that. How would she show up? The woman that is, who I'm becoming. So then it becomes so ingrained in who you are that it just becomes part of, which that is what Mindful Morning has done for me. I know Janelle, at this point, you hardly even think about it. Like just, yeah, it becomes your way of being. So I wanted to kind of go over a little bit with what Relaunch Your Soul Academy is and what let me see if I can, I already showed you guys that one. Do I have the other one up here? So we're starting the second round of From Wounded to Wild. The prep call is tomorrow at 10. So we're just all going to meet. I'm going to go over the agenda for the next 6 weeks. I know that I'm not going to be picking a winner until next Sunday. I didn't think about it because I'm going to let everybody catch up if they want to rewatch or watch the replays this week. But so what we'll do is whoever wins that one will just start like at the actual, or you guys will just come in on the second week and we'll, you'll have access to the portal for those 6 weeks. So you can easily get caught up on everything no matter when you come in. And what it is a foundational, it's a foundation, it's for everybody. For the lifetime of my program, everybody will take this. I cannot get underneath here. Why can't I do that? Wait, here it is, I think, maybe. So let me go ahead and move you guys over here. and I won't go through like, I already kind of went through this the other night with you guys, but so that's what's starting there. But so this will be for 3 months. So my offer right now is for 3 months at a time. So I don't work with anybody less than 3 months because there's habits and, you know, new things that we implement into our life. It takes 90 days most of the time. And so if I've noticed if I've worked with somebody just for like a month, then they have like, some of them have worked out, but like nothing really gets like implemented and no shifts. I don't see many shifts with them. Some people I see like crazy shifts in the first couple weeks that we're working together. So, but 3 months is a really good like spot to be in between. And so I showed you guys this the other day. I don't know if I'll just go over it again, but like, so 7 years ago, I was in active addiction. I was just obsessed with things looking perfect. That was actually in 2015. And then I was actually engaged to get married. And we have our picture right there. He helped me raise my kids. And then he started doing meth and making it in our house. And so I left him, but I was doing like pain pills and stuff. And then I just went downhill from there. I gained like 60 pounds, I think. I was super depressed. And then in 2017, I started, I don't know, something happened, but I started dating this guy. And he's not the one that started this, but through relationships is how things get, they're divine mirrors, right? We literally see our shit in relationships, relationships with our kids, relationships with our coworkers, with our friends. Like whenever we have big things that happen, or like with this relationship, I was like, why is he like treating me this way? Why is he, it was like gaslighting me. And I never, like, I remember telling my mom, I'm like, I feel like I'm going crazy. Like I didn't know what gaslighting was. I didn't know what narcissism was, but it just all like led me to that. And so then we started dating and all the things, but I started like had a shift in May of 2017. And it was a spiritual awakening. I don't know how else to explain it. There was a series of different things that happened, but there wasn't any like big boom of any sort. It was just me starting to recognize how I exist in the world. And so I started doing like events, and I started doing like craft shows, and that's actually where I met Shelby. And then that's how I met Jess through Shelby, because we both did Sadie's first event she ever did. And then,
Where we met
yeah, that's where we met too. You're right.
is one of your shows.
Yes, and I met Abby at Native Nook when I was there, I think for the first or one of the enlightenments that I did with you. So, and that's how I've met, I love it because that's how all my connections started. And then I was in 3 different local publications. This one is actually Jess's magazine right here, Digital Wolf. And so that was in May of 2022. I started volunteering at Turning Point for meditation because in between 2017 and 2021, I stopped using drugs. That was my last, like when I think it was like the end of 2019, I think was the last time. And then I just started like really hardcore diving into like self-healing, and it just took over because I was actually like withdrawing one time, and I looked up like how I could help myself feel better, and I found Reiki for withdrawing from a drug. And I'm like, what is Reiki? What is this? And it just led me to one thing to the other. And then I was working as an HR medical assistant at Syndicate Sales, and I had to create this health fair. And I had a yoga guy come in, and so I did his class, and that was the first time I ever meditated. And then it just took off from there. And so when I went to Turning Point, then they hired me as a medical assistant to create, design, and open their bridge clinic, which is the bridge. And this is where it gets really crazy and fun. This part right here of how I know I'm capable of helping you guys get to like work through your purpose is because I had, back when I was in here, when I was in this space, like I literally had no self-worth, no nothing. And also my circumstances sucked. My circumstances didn't change at all between these two slides, right? I wasn't making very much money. I was still in that relationship. Like there's nothing that changed with my circumstances. It was my mindset, right? It was the mindfulness. It was what I started to do. And so I just did things to follow what I love, and that was meditation. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we need an MA to open our bridge clinic, which, and I said 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I want to teach this in addiction recovery centers. That was my goal. And I said that in the middle of, it was, I think 2021, I think is what I said. And when I said that, I was invited to go to Turning Point, by the way. I didn't seek it out. There was a girl in my group that was like, hey, come do meditation classes at this place called Turning Point. And so I started doing them. I had no money. Sometimes I had $2 for gas, but I would still drive to Kokomo and I would show up, and I did it for free, like for an entire, I think it was almost like 6 months, I think. And then they're like, we need an MA. And so that bridge clinic is the bridge between the unit and the outside world. It's literally what I do is help people reintegrate back into their environments. And I get to like have my crystals, and my office is like the best one, isn't it? Janelle's been there, Kristen's been there, Darla's been there. I literally have the best office of the whole entire place, and has beautiful windows. And I get to teach chakra work in the unit with people that are going through detox. And I have chills because I'm like, this is what I wanted to do. And I'm doing it. And so then once what I did was just follow my heart through all of this. Like, that's all I did. I got honest. I let go of my labels, because at the time I'm like, who am I to be teaching other addicts or recovery when I had the same thing? Like, who am I to be teaching meditation? That came through. But then I stopped comparing myself. I started to dream, and then I started to document, just like what Abby just said. Documentation is huge. And so with this process with Relaunch Your Soul, so we pinpoint the pattern or the habit or the situation, whatever it is that's keeping you stuck, right? And then we find out what's really causing it with like energy work, mindset work, emotional work, holistic healing, basically, is what we do. So we work together to discover your strategy, right? So like the way that Janelle does something or heals is different from the way Jess does. The way Abby does it is different than Kristen, right? So there are no two people that heal just the same. You guys might use the same, similar ways, but you have your own unique way that your soul is guiding you to evolve and to unlayer all the conditioning. And so we find your strategy for releasing unprocessed emotions, rewriting the limiting stories, and then we'll find healthier ways, right, for you to meet your core needs, reinvent your true self-concept so that you can close the authority gap and heal the imposter syndrome. And then the last one's my favorite, is developing principles and skills that are gonna like last you for a lifetime of changing your life. And then we go into your gifts and intuition. And then you start to step out as a healer. And if you want to start to, help people heal and start your business and be a coach, right? It might be that, but that's not the core. Like with Janelle went from the unit, right? Went from the unit to like on this she just did a quantum leap in going from there to where she's at now. And she knows 100% what she wants to do. It went very quick for her. And every day it was just from her stopping all the bullshit. Like, just stop pretending. Let's just be real. That's really how it is. So with Relaunch Your Soul Academy, it's a portal online, and it's like a school, and you guys get all the sheets and all, like there's a manual that comes with it. We meet every Saturday for a group coaching call, but then you also get one-on-ones. So every 2 weeks you get a 1-hour session for 3 months. So there's like 6 one-on-ones. And then, so then, 3 months. So 6 group coaching calls, 6 soul coaching, which is basically, what I just said, the one-on-ones, and then access to the portal, The soul mission strategy call will happen right after if you sign on. It's an hour and a half, and that's like we map out a plan is what we do, which is what I kind of wanted to do tonight. We kind of did just a minute ago, but and then Facebook Messenger support. It's a community for light workers, and the ebook. So there's an ebook that you get too. And so it is $497 or $170 a month. And this is what it is going up. It went up from last month, and that's what I said last time. I'm like, it's going to go up next time, you guys, because I can't. My coach is like, you gotta freaking, and I'm like, no, I don't want to. I just want to give it away. I don't even want to freaking charge for it. This was so hard for me right now. And this is what I'm in this program for, is to learn how to sell. And it's like so out of my element, but I appreciate you guys letting me, like, this is the first time I'm ever really actually pitching. And so you guys are amazing. So I think that, oh, and then what's included. So one-on-one coaching and support, the soul care and mindset coaching that will support you in making an impact with a managed mind. And you guys are founding members, whoever is in it for this year. And then a monthly masterclass just for my clients. So after, even with the 6-week group coaching, we'll do a client-only workshop is what I'm going to start doing starting in October, actually, is when we'll start it. So we'll be doing that. And then I actually have 70 videos in there now since I created this. And then I am working on a certification for energy work and holistic healing. And so I'm looking into all of that. And I meet with somebody next week of like how I can, what that entails, because that is something I want to do. And I've been asked about it. And it's really on-demand transformation, because for me, I'll tell you, when I was part of memberships with the portal, it changed. I got on there anytime I wanted. Emily Aarons is the first one I ever joined. And I was like, went through all her videos in like a month. And then at night I would go, I even played in meditation. Like, I love having like an online library of stuff. That is exclusive, right? It's not on YouTube. It's not like it's exclusive to you guys. And then this community of like-minded women all together, and a couple men are in there as well. So that is my program. And do you guys have any questions about anything? Okay. And if you do, so I'm going to have a call with Kristen. I know we're going to have a call, and then I have Erica and I have Stacy that's in the group. So if you guys want to jump on a call, or if anybody does, which Janelle's already my client, Darla's pretty much my client, Abigail is. So Kristen and Jess, if you want to go over this again, or if you have any questions, or Jess, I know you said that you sent somebody, or you had a friend or something you were sending to my group.
Yeah, it's a lady that I've been working in a nonprofit thing, and I was just kind of telling her about what I was doing this week. And then she ended up texting me yesterday asking me for your information. So and she's an older lady in her 60s.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's just like, yeah, I think that would be really beneficial to me. So
yeah,
I sent both of you each other's information. So
okay. All right. All right. So this week, so I'm going to add this to the replay page, so you guys will have them all organized. And then you'll have another week to watch these again, or to do the mindful mornings. I am going to pop on a couple mornings next week, just live again to do another mindful morning. But if anybody has any questions from now until then, just let me know. And I appreciate you guys for being here all week. And then I'll draw next Sunday, by the way. So I'll draw whoever, and if I draw your name and you're like, I don't know if I can do the 6-week thing, then we'll figure out another thing that is going to work for you. Okay. So I just want you guys to get value, and I want to serve you. And if that doesn't look like what I have put together, I will figure something else out. So yeah, that's how I roll.
Is tomorrow morning's a live or a Zoom?
It's a Zoom. It's just for the Relaunch Your Soul Academy. Yep.
Okay.
So it is. And Abby, if I know we're meeting at 11, so if you want to jump on at 10, it's going to just be a prep call. Like I said, we're going to go over the agenda. It might not be a whole hour, it might just be 30 minutes. And Darla, you can jump on there too if you'd like, if you're not busy. So, all right, you guys. Well, what?
I wanted to tell Kristen happy birthday weekend. So
Thank you.
and congratulations on the freedom to celebrate yourself all weekend.
Yep.
You celebrate you.
Thank
the way
you,
nobody,
Darla.
the way nobody else can.
All right.
All right. You guys have a good night. I will see you soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Love you.
You're welcome. Love you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Love you.
Bye, thank you.
You're welcome.